What you are listening to now is the Purdue Report with Jake Dunn, our weekly look at Purdue sports. Join us every Wednesday morning for the Purdue Report. And on Friday morning, we will have our Purdue Notre Dame preview with Jake and our Notre Dame guys, Eric and Ryan Robinson. And on Saturday, of course, we will react to Purdue's game against the Irish with Jake and probably with Eric and Ryan again. Please subscribe to the Central Indiana Sports Report at YouTube, Amazon, Apple, SoundCloud, or Spotify so you don't miss a single podcast.
You are listening to the Purdue Report on the Central Indiana Sports Report, our weekly conversation on Purdue sports every Wednesday morning. Please join us Friday for our Purdue Notre Dame preview. And here's your host, Greg Mingelt.
Welcome, Boilermaker fans, to the Central Indiana Sport for this week's Purdue Report with Jake Dunn. Jake, the Purdue Report is our weekly discussion on Purdue sports wherever we want to take it. And we typically take it to football and basketball. Those have been the two topics that I think all Purdue reports have been. But that doesn't necessarily mean it always will be. There will be things that we'll be talking about that are not basketball and football related, but we're not going to lie to everybody and say that's not going to be 95% of our coverage. So let's start with some football. And Purdue is 2-1 through 3 games. And as we said on Sunday morning after the game, I think they're 3 for 3 in passing tests.
I would say so. I think had a lot kind of to be proud of and to be optimistic about after the USC game. I think USC is a decent team. They're now ranked in the AP poll. I know that doesn't necessarily mean you're good, but at least other people think that they're good enough to be ranked. So I think they're a decent team in the Big Ten. And passed that test, the test you needed to with Ball State and SIU, and it's good to see some fight in the team again. So I think there's a lot of turnover with the staff and players from last year. So there's not a lot of players really saw how little of a fight there was last year, but the fans do, and I think it's really refreshing as a fan to kind of see that fight in the team again. When you're looking back at last year, so a lot of good things to be optimistic about, and just have another opportunity here on Saturday against Notre Dame to really kind of show that.
I think USC is just not very good. I have a feeling that they win this week, they go to 4-0, there's fanfare, and then they lose to Illinois, Michigan, Notre Dame, Nebraska, back to back. Just a feeling. Yeah,
that it very well could be. I think they've got a really good offense, but I think the defense leaves kind of a lot to be desired there. So
they have a good passing game. I'm not sure about the running game. It was pretty good against Purdue. I'm not sure it will be very good against good teams.
With Lincoln Riley, every year it seems like his record gets worse at USC. So he's definitely has a lot to prove. So interesting to see how that plays out.
And it's not the USC report, but I also want to say that Jacoby Lane, the receiver, kind of reminds me of another former Trojan, Michael Pittman, who's now Colt. He is awfully good, but not super impressed by USC. But let's go forward now, because Purdue's upcoming schedule is also very difficult, and it starts at Notre Dame on Saturday. And unfortunately, Jake, I think they're going to get a very angry Irish team.
You factor that in with the just overall physical, advantage that Notre Dame has with USC. Those guys were just bigger and stronger than a lot of Purdue's guys, and it's going to be the same story here with Notre Dame. Going to be the same story with Illinois and a lot of other teams in the Big Ten. So comes down to fight. I think this 3-game stretch, beating Ball State and SIU and hanging in there with USC, I think it gives you a little more optimism as you look ahead to kind of that October stretch. When you get the Minnesotas, the Northwesterns, the Rutgers, I think those go from I could see Purdue winning this to really now it might be a little more of a coin flip in terms of who's going to win that game.
And as we discussed on the IU report yesterday, everybody go listen to it. It was amazing. Mike Hutzel and Grant Schaus are a great team. We don't think Illinois is as good as the national media seems to think so. We've watched them play, not overly impressive. Purdue always plays them well. In my lifetime, IU, Illinois, and Northwestern are the only programs that Purdue year to year could look forward to being on the same level with. So it's kind of hard to take them seriously. And I don't know, maybe Purdue can hang and be competitive in 4 in a row. I don't know. I don't think any of us know yet.
We talked about before. So far, I've been pretty happy with how the season's
Absolutely.
gone. Even if we, don't.
We wouldn't be talking this way if we hadn't been happy with the way things are going. I think this is all a good sign on Barry Odom that we're actually talking about these things.
Even if we don't upset Illinois or upset IU, if we can just win a couple more, maybe against Northwestern or Rutgers, Minnesota, I'd be pretty happy with that season. I think a lot of their fans would as well.
Let's talk a little basketball because that's going to be our want most of the time, I believe. As much as we like Purdue football, I'm obsessed with Purdue basketball, have been since I was a little kid, since Joe Barry Carroll led the Boilermakers to the Final Four in 1980, beating IU and Kentucky on the way. Just want to point that out. I know it was a long time ago and nobody cares, but that's my favorite run of all time. And this looks like a team that's going to be a lot of fun to talk about. And I want to talk about a young man named Trey Kaufman-Wren, who I covered in high school. Actually, going back to 7th grade, we used to cover the local middle school championships as well. And going back to 7th grade, everybody in Southern Indiana, even when they were in 7th and 8th grade, knew who Trey Kaufman-Wren and Cooper Jacoby were. So I've known about him since 7th grade, and I enjoyed covering him in high school and all those state championships. I never imagined he could be this good in college. He has blown me away. Brandon Brantley, has there ever been a better big man coach in the history of college basketball?
He's hard to stack up against, that's for sure. Purdue's kind of made itself into big man U for, I guess, kind of more traditional big men, like it started with AJ Hammond and Isaac Haas, Matt Harms, Zach Edey, obviously, Juwan Johnson. You could argue it started with him too, but yeah, Travion Williams too. Throw him in there. It makes you excited for Daniel Jacobson and Oscar Clough, other big men that'll be coming in future years. Makes you pretty excited for them to see the progress that they can make. I think it really speaks to Purdue's staff of being able to develop guys like Zach Edey, who was, the 240th or whatever ranked player in the class, and Smith, who, before he got offered by by Purdue, had, offers from the MAC and, like Wyoming, teams like that, North
Correct.
Texas, kind of smaller teams. So I think it speaks a lot to
Matt Painter.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can go.
Clearly has a lot for talent.
Yeah, exactly. So I know a phrase that's kind of gone viral is the "I'm a trust paint." Gonna trust Matt Painter. So I'm fully in that camp.
Jake, I want to say I've never, and I had some issues sometimes with Painter or something when he first started, but now when I question him, I assume I'm wrong. Because every time I question him, he turns out to be right. And he is so good at this. I've never had a coach of one of my favorite teams in my life that I just don't even question anymore.
I'm the same way. So I think, Purdue has also had a kind of a knack of people that they've been chasing in recruitments that haven't panned out. And that's led to guys like Braden Smith and guys like Zach Edey.
Yeah.
Do you think
it's amazing how many times Carson Edwards.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just kind of funny how all these things work out for Purdue in the end, and
it makes you wonder if somebody like CJ Walker or whoever had come to Purdue and gotten coached by this coaching staff, would he have been Carson Edwards instead? Is it because they chose Purdue and this coaching staff that they become these guys, or did they just happen to get the right guys? That's the question.
Yeah, it's a $1 million question. That's why Matt Painter gets paid the big bucks.
Yeah. Do you think Ryan Klein is a huge success anywhere else?
I'd be hard pressed to say yes. I don't think he. No, he's not an exceptional athlete. He's a good
Right.
shooter.
He was the perfect painter player.
Yeah, yep. He fits in the system very well. So yeah, I don't know if he goes somewhere else. I don't know if he gets the career he had at Purdue.
Back to Trey Kaufman-Renn. Just an exceptional junior year. Trey Kaufman-Renn coming back for his senior year, his 5th year at Purdue, was first team All Big Ten, 3rd team All American last year. And like I said, I covered him in high school, and I was excited about him going to Purdue and being a contributor. I could never thought he was going to be a star, and just credit to him. In basketball, I always say basketball, golf, and tennis are the 3 real repetition sports. You have to play every day, or you're just not going to compete with the people who are. And it's obvious that Trey Kaufman-Renn is in the gym every single day.
He's got a great work ethic, and I applaud him too for not transferring. After he had to sit behind Zach Edey for a year or two. So I it's definitely way too easy now to transfer in college sports. Any sign of adversity, somebody can bolt. And so I applaud him for trusting the process, trusting the coaching staff, and not taking that easy the easy door out. And I think that's paid off well for him. So he's in line to be a first team All American this year, first team All Big Ten, and is you could argue Purdue's the front runner to win the national championship this year. So I think it's paid out. His patience has paid off for him, as well as a lot of other guys on the team.
And the same could be said for Jack Benter as well. I remember when the story came out that Trey Kaufman-Renn was redshirting, and Matt Painter said, yeah, he just completely bought in. Painter said, here's the plan, and Trey Kaufman-Renn was like, hey, let's go do it. And he's just that kind of kid.
Yeah.
Sellersburg, Indiana produces great people.
Yeah. I think fun fact, my freshman college roommate was actually from Sellersburg. So yeah, I got a connection there too.
Wife.
But yeah. It just speaks a lot about Purdue and the program that's built, that you could get a guy like Trey Kaufman who would rather redshirt at Purdue than go to like an IU or somewhere else and play right away potentially. It speaks a lot about the coaching staff and the program.
Jake, you and I will be back first thing Friday morning to preview Purdue Notre Dame with Eric and Ryan Robinson, our Notre Dame guys, and look forward to doing that. Thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you. Boiler up.
Boiler up. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.